Welcome back to Cadillac Coach Works. So today I thought I'd show you proper oil change and oil for 1949, maybe 48, can't remember, to 1960 Cadillac V8 331, 365, 390 with the top cartridge oil filter. Now we're going to talk about the oil. We're going to talk about the oil that I use and kind of just a little bit of a process. And this is what I've been doing for the last 20 years. There's been a lot of changes in oil over the past few years. You can't get away with just using regular oil anymore. These old engines, they have flat tappet cams. They require zinc and thick oil. A lot of the new oil is for newer cars that have all rubber seals, roller rockers, roller lifters, and all that fun stuff. So I'm going to show you what I use and what I do. So give me a second and I'll show you. Okay, so on these old girls, all you need is a 7/8. I can't find my other wrench, but this will work. This is what I usually use on lines and whatnot. So for the cartridge, you want to use a Wix 51100. This is a cartridge type. Yep, with a little go handle right here to pull it out. It comes with an O-ring, which goes over the lid. We have some Lucas, which we're going to use some Lucas heavy duty oil stabilizing. We're going to use some Hyperlube additive, that's with the zinc, and then some Rotella T1. Now this is a straight 30 weight. I live in California, which I can get away with using this. You can use different SAEs depending on your state, how cold you get, whatnot. But even back in the day, if you look in your service manuals, Cadillac used straight weights. And you would use like a 20, 30, 40, whatever, depending on the weather and what season it was. And back then, you would change your oil like every month or two. It's just, that was the Cadillac service. You don't need to do that now, but yeah. And then you're wondering, why do I have a turkey baster? Well, I'm going to show you that in a second. Some of you already might know, but I'm going to show you. So let me go through the process. I'm going to drain the oil on her. And after that, we will get to work on the top end. So while I'm under here draining the oil, I just wanted to show you guys something that's pretty cool. And, this car's only got 40,000 miles on it. I've mentioned it a few times, but can you see that right there? I know it's a little dark. That is tape, and that was to hold on the rubber pad for the body mount at the factory. I mean, you don't see that, and I just, I've told people like, oh, there's still tape holding on onto the chassis, it's holding the rubber mount onto the chassis. They're like, whoa, no way. And I'm like, yeah, that's just a telltale sign of a true low mileage car. I mean, this tape has been on there for 66 years. So yeah, I mean, you can tell a California car, it's never seeing any harsh weather or anything like that. And she's if you saw my previous video of me trying to figure out leaks and stuff, that's nice and dry now. We don't really have any leaks on the ground. But I thought I'd just show you that while it's draining. Get back to you in a minute. Okay, so just like your drain plug, the canister up here should be 7/8. And it's, this is one thing. I wanted to paint this so bad, but it still has the original AC filter type and all that stuff. But, so let's loosen that up. Loosen, loosey, loosey goosey. Turn, turn, turn. Turn, turn, turn. Yada, yada, yada. Nice pop. Now, if you haven't changed the oil on one of these for a long time, or the car's sat for a long time, sometimes these will stick. But it's nothing, you know, take this off, but it's nothing, a little tap of a dead blow around going upwards that should get this off. So, let's get this off here. Oh yeah. Oh yeah. Okay. Well, it's looking good so far. All right. Let me get things situated here. So there's the O-ring that goes on the lid, and we're obviously going to have to lube that up, put it back on. And yeah, let me get this filter out. It's not rocket science. You pull that little go handle right there, but make sure you have your drain pan or something right here just to put it right in there. Otherwise, you're going to get oil all over the place. Well, stupid Ryan forgot to have a container to drain the oil out from just draining out from underneath the car, so we're going to do this very carefully. So I'm going to do twist, do the twist, very slowly pull this up, and then you see all the oil at the bottom right there. So what I'm going to do is do this, and then I'm going to let it sit. So letting it sit lets all the oil drain back into the actual can right here. So as soon as that's done, and it's not so much of a El Valdez, we are going to pull that out. So give me, I don't know, 5 minutes. Well, 5 minutes for me, not for you. Okay, so after not listening to my own advice, I pulled it out and spilt some oil, and it took me a minute to dry up. But now, where the turkey baster comes in. So look at all that oil in there. You can't rerun that. A lot of people just, shove another filter back and they're like, oh, it's good to go. Nope. So we're going to use the turkey baster. Suck. Ooh. Suck, suck, suck. And this does take a little while. You can use a, pneumatic vacuum or whatnot, but you know what? I didn't feel like firing up the compressor and bringing it over here, so I'm just going to do this. A couple taps, bring it over here, and drain it. Keep doing this. Wipe the little dribble, and just keep doing this. So you don't need to see me do this the whole time, but I'll get back to you when I'm really low, and we'll inspect the very bottom of this can. Okay, so 1 million minutes later, let's take a look down in there. There's just a little bit in there, but we don't see any gray or anything else, so no deposit, which is good. So now what we're going to do is, you see there's a little O-ring on the bottom of this. So I just like another oil filter. Let me just get a little bit of oil and just kind of put some of that in there, and then obviously slide this sucker down in there. Careful not to tear anything. And see, there's another little O-ring right there, so I'm going to get a little bit more oil just from wherever. Just put some more on there, and we should just push that all the way down in there. Make sure it's seated very well. So now what I'm going to do is, out my head, that thing always gets me, we're going to pour some Rotella in there, and we're going to fill up the canister about halfway, and then let it kind of just seep in there, and then just keep topping it off a little bit, and then I can add some of the heavy duty Lucas oil stabilizer and some of the Hyperlube zinc additive. Now, a lot of people will run this straight without any zinc additive, but it has lots of zinc in it, but you could do with a little bit more. Same with if you use VR1, any of that other stuff, but VR1's very expensive. This is $19 at Walmart, you guys. I mean, come on. You can't go wrong with it. And it's heavy duty. It says diesel, but it's heavy duty oil, just like the old engines like. Because the tolerance in the old engines are a lot greater than newer vehicles. So I'm going to pour a little bit in there, and I'll get back to you. Okay. Got to be very careful not to spill it all over the place, so just slightly, just pour on top of it. Try to get some of it off to the side, like I'm doing right here, and just kind of take a gander in there. If it starts coming up to the top, that's fine. Just let it soak into that filter. I see it coming up slowly. A little more daylight helps, but you know, we are blue-collar Americans and we work during the day, right? So, get more in there, get more, and you'll be surprised how much this thing holds. Okay, so that's all I'm going to put in there. And I have, it's about a quart. Wow. So now I'm going to put some of the Lucas in here and just let it kind of, you know, do its thing. That way it's a lot easier because, you know, that stuff is as thick as honey. So give me a second here. Okay, so I already put some of the Hyperlube in there, about half of a bottle, because this does have zinc in it already. So another half bottle is perfect. Now we just got the Lucas going here. We're going to squeeze it because, yeah, it's almost like honey and you want to eat it, but don't eat it. So we're just going to keep dumping this in here. Dumpy, 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 dump, dump. So while we're doing that, here's the ring. And just like any other oil filter, you want to get some of the, you know, some oil and spread it on both sides, and then we're going to seat it in this ring right here. We're just going to seat it in there and it's ready to go. So let me do that real quick. Okay, so we have our seal all lubed up here. Let's put this back on and I'm checking down in there. Yeah, it's about half full. That's good. That's very good. That's usually what it runs at. It's about half full. So you want to screw this down. Do not cross thread. Do not force it. There's a spring, so you got to give it a little tension. There we go. Make sure the AC logo is pointing forward for those pesky judges that, or you know, people that want to judge your shit. Okay, she's tight. Give her a little white. You will get a little bit of oil on the top right here from sitting. Let's sit down 7/8 here. Now you don't want to super tighten this, you know, because this is cast and you can crack this. It's not stamped steel, it's actually cast. So what I like to do is feel it getting tight and just, you know, use your Ooga Dooga. It's ready to go. All right, so now let's put some oil in her. Stick in there. So, like I said, we got our premix in here, and if I did everything correctly, and I've done this 100 times, we should have the perfect amount of oil, because there's usually about 3/4 of a quart or so that sits in this, maybe half a quart, and then the rest of the engine will be about 5 quarts. So let's pull this in there, and I did shake it to get some of that Lucas in there and mix it all up real nice like. So pour all this in there, guzzle, guzzle, guzzle. Take all them vitamins and dinosaurs. Fun fact, you can tell your kids that your engine runs on a T-Rex, because I'm pretty sure there's a little bit of T-Rex in this oil. Okay. See how nice and thick that is? Look at that. It's like honey still. Alright. Are they having a party back there? What's going on? I don't know. Okay, so just kind of let that drip in there. Make sure you put it in the right hole, if you know what I mean. Now, before I start it, I am just going to check the dipstick. I already had it out a little bit. Because when you're changing oil, and this kind of comes from shops and whatnot, you just leave the dipstick out so you know that there's no oil in it. Or at least, you know, halfway out or whatever. Just kind of lets everybody know, hey, there's no oil in this engine. We don't want to pull a Walmart. And we are right in optimal range. Oh shit, I just dripped it. Anyways, we're right in optimal range. So she is ready to start up. And then of course we are going to check it again. Okay, so she's running, obviously. So we're going to let her run for 2 minutes and check her oil again. If you saw my Vegas video, you know the fuel pump went out. She's still kind of running a little iffy, and I haven't gotten down. I haven't gotten down to check it. I'm wondering if maybe there's a little surge, and it's only when she's cold, and she never did that before. So that's something I definitely have to dive into. But you know, another day. Anyways, yeah. Let me let her warm up a little bit, and we'll check the oil again. So, like I was saying, she's warmed up, and now she is just running like a clock. I do have to tighten the alternator belt. It's kind of shaking, and there was a squeak when I started her. But let's check the oil one more time. Okay, so I checked her. She's about a quarter quart too low, so I was off maybe a quarter of a quart. But yeah, that's pretty much it. You know, some people still might argue on what type of oil, and you can use any oil. You can't, okay? I'm not talking out of my ass. I've been doing this a long time, and I've seen what newer oils can do to these engines, and you definitely do not want to put synthetic oil on these engines. You want to use heavy oil, heavy duty oil. Back in the day, I mean, if you opened a can of oil and poured it out, it'd be gloop, gloop, gloop. It's not like gloop, 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 gloop like it is now. It's, you know, it's just the petroleum was different back then. So anyways, I hope this little video helps you out. And it's the same process as a spin-on filter. You just fill up, you know, the spin-on filter with like a quarter of a quart, or what, you know, just not too much, but be able to screw it on. But yeah, with the canisters, I wanted to show you how I use a turkey baster or a vacuum, like a bleeding vacuum or whatever, you know, a fluid vacuum to suck all that stuff out of there, because you got to take that stuff out. That's from the filter. It's gross. It's just old oil, and it can be up to half of a quart of old oil that's going to circulate back through your engine. I know there's some oil that's still in your galleys and whatnot, but the less old oil you have in there, the better. I change on my Cadillacs. I change it once a year. Because I don't get to the 3,000 miles on these cars, you know. I maybe get to 1,500 or so, so I change them once a year. If you drive your car, obviously, or drive your car more, you obviously want to do it more. But anyways, I hope you guys found this a little bit informational. The 52 video is still going to come. The 52 coupe is getting all sorts of body work done. It's going to be amazing when it comes back. And yeah, I'm hoping to get it this weekend. So anyways, you guys take care and have a great rest of your week.